I think that I've heard so much talk about, oh, this is not it does nothing for Aljamain if he beats Cejudo. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy. You're absolutely nuts. First off, Henry Cejudo is a stud. He's a 2 division champion in the UFC. This guy's a gold medalist out of the Olympics. And yeah, he retired. And now he's back. And if Aljamain gets the first crack at him, I think if you're going to get a crack at him, that's the time to get it. So Aljamain's being smart. Let me get into him before he gets back on a roll or anything like that. You want a shot at the title? I'm the guy you got to come through. I think it's a good fight for both. They both have aspects. Aljamain has, usually he controls his fights through his grappling. He's not going to have an easy time just using wrestling to get Cejudo down. That ain't going to happen. He's got to hurt Cejudo in the stand-up, either with body shots or shots to the head that are doing damage to him. But he's got to use his stand-up to get to the point where his grappling can take effect. Obviously, once it gets into the submission game, he's fantastic with his submissions and probably better than Henry in that area by far. But trying to hold on to someone that's got Henry's grappling experience and the wrestling has is not easy to do. So this is a tough fight, but I think it does a lot for Aljamain if he gets a win here. And you're beating a guy, they call him Triple C, triple champion, being Olympic in 2 divisions, both the flyweight and the bantamweight in the UFC. How could this not be something that, you put on your mantle, something that, says something about how good you are? I think this is the right fight. I think it's the right fight for Henry Cejudo to come back on, because being the fact that he was a 2-division champion, he walked away from the title, and retired for a while, and now he's coming back. I think he deserves the shot at the title to get his title back, because he's the one that laid it down. And I think it's a great, opportunity for Aljamain Sterling to get his shot at a guy that, is got all the tools and all the knowledge necessary to regain that title. He's there to prove, well, you know what, times have passed you by, and I'm here to prove it. So great, fantastic. I hope, I'd like to see that as the main event of 288. That's a great main event.
I think it's the fight that needed to happen. Henry Cejudo never lost the title. He vacated it. Aljamain Sterling has proven to be a good fighter. I mean, we knew he was a good fighter before, but I also think that now he is, with his win over Peter Yan and then his win over TJ Dillashaw, no matter what had happened. And I know, look, Aljo's got a little beef with Big John and I because of what we had said about him in terms of the first Peter Yan fight. He came out and proved us wrong in the second Peter Yan fight. I have no ill will towards the guy. No matter what he said about me and whatever, I know he's like, oh, Josh, I used to like you as a fighter, man. But, man, you disrespected me. Now you're a bitch. And I'm like, Aljo, I just called what I saw. And I know not everyone wants to hear that. I know fighters don't want to hear that. And nobody wants to hear the truth. But what I saw was someone that kind of just, I don't think that you faked being hurt. But I just felt like you faked at the end how dramatic it was. Like you didn't know what was going on. You knew what was going on. And it's okay. I wouldn't have wanted to carry on getting fighting too against someone like Peter Yan, knowing that you could potentially never get that title shot again. You get the title. But then you went out there and proved everyone wrong in the second fight. So you're the better guy. That's really what it comes down to. Like, that was what it came down to at the end. Like, now this fight is a little bit different because stylistically, I've been on the record to say that Henry Cejudo is a bad matchup for Aljo. But where I've got to take Aljo's side though on this is that Aljo's been active. He's fought Peter Yan twice. He got prepared for TJ Dillashaw. I mean, I know it wasn't the best fight, but like he has got the abilities to beat Henry, but Henry's definitely got the abilities to beat him. Henry's can stuff the takedown. Henry will be the faster, I believe, the faster fighter on the feet. He will be a little bit smaller than Aljo, but he has the wrestling to take Aljo down. He's got the wrestling to stop Aljo's takedowns. But Aljo is also someone that can be very crafty when it comes to, if I can get Henry in a clinch position, if I can get Henry to a wrestling position, I could potentially get to his back. I could potentially get to like a leg lock position, sweep, get to the top position. I think that he's going to have a hard time out scrambling Henry Cejudo. But lesson learned, you can't count Aljo out, man. Aljo on the feet is good. I don't think he's as good as Henry. He's bigger than Henry. He's longer than Henry. He can punch and kick, from a further away distance. So Henry's going to have to make it a dogfight. He's going to have to fight him in a phone booth like how he did with Marlon Moraes. Now, we can go here and say the MMA math. Marlon's got a win over Aljo when they were both kind of in their prime. Henry's got a win over Marlon, and both when they were considered to be kind of in their prime because they fought for the vacant title. I mean, there's a lot to be said. But I look at Henry Cejudo. To me, he's a bad matchup for Aljo, but the time away after, 3 years, almost 3 years, how will that fare for him against someone like Aljamain Sterling? Also, the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is that Aljo already said, hey, if after I beat Henry, I might just, there's nothing left for me in this weight class, I may go up to 45. Bro, there's so much more for you left in this weight class. But here's the thing. I understand why he's doing it because Merab is waiting, and if Merab ends up winning, against who's he fighting? Peter Yan. If Merab beats Peter Yan, I could see how Aljo's because they're boys, will end up going up to 145, and Merab staying at 135 to potentially win the title there. So I get it. Look, and if Aljo, if they are as close as they are, which they have been very clear about, Aljo being a good guy, man, that's a good guy. Understanding that, look, I beat out Peter Yan. I beat out TJ, who everyone thought I was going to lose to. Everyone thought I was going to lose to Peter, me being included. And then I turn around and beat Henry Cejudo. I could see how he says there's nothing left for him in the 135-pound division. I think there still is. But Merab being there and Merab being his boy, his main training partner, it makes sense. Go to 145 and let Merab be champ.